Can you hear any sound?
Alright guys, so we're out on a walk this morning. I'm here with Mr. Logan. Give him a wave, guys. Give a wave to the people. There we go. So basically I've got this a Kammock hammock, and I was looking for an under blanket or an under quilt for it, and checking the prices of some of those things, man, is just ridiculous. So started snooping around a little bit, and then I found Snugpak makes one. Looks to be pretty decent quality. I haven't tried it to even see if it fits my hammock yet. If it doesn't fit my roo, it'll definitely fit his grand trunk. So we're gonna go ahead and give it a try. I've actually bought two of them. So before I do go out and do an overnighter with this thing, I do want to see if it actually fits my hammock and if it's comfortable or not. So let's get her going. I'll set up the roo right now, and then we'll get to figuring out how this under blanket's gonna fit. So. Nope. We'll need this. We'll need this. And we'll need this. Get the strap up. So, all right. Here is the under blanket. Looks kind of big because it's up in front of me, but it's probably about the size of a soccer ball. The dimensions of it are 84 inches long and 58 inches wide. The weight of it is about 3.1 pounds or 1,450 grams, 51 ounces. And it's got some travel loft. I think it's called travel loft filling inside. It's supposed to be antifungal or anti-smell, anti-stink, whatever. It doesn't really matter. It does come in this nice cinch sack. We'll just loosen her up a little bit here. Hopefully it'll pick it up. But if you get up close enough, you can see it's got the specs on the bag itself. What it is. Got it written on the side with a big old Snugpak right there. So we got our under blanket pulled out. You got the exterior part. It's got like a diamond weaved or a ripstop, some kind of nylon, I'm guessing. And then on the inside, it's more of a smooth feeling material. But you could probably use this as a blanket as well if you wanted to. A little bit on the heavier side, but I'm not one of those ultralight camper guys, so it doesn't bother me at all. So I'm gonna go ahead and see if I can figure something out here, and then I'm gonna show you what I did. So stick around, won't be long. So I started off, guys, setting it up, and I found something that was a little bit annoying. On the under blanket, if you come right here, right through the center, I guess it's a span of about 8 inches or so. You've got two tie outs, two loops right here out of webbing, and then you had the shock cord. They had the shock cord pass through there in a kind of a lark's head fashion. But when I tried to stretch it out to each spot, it was it basically made it too short to even tie it to my suspension system. So what I did was I stretched them out. I just tied a little half hitch at the end here, tied the two of them together with a carabiner, and I'll show you how that's going to work out. I've got it set on the lowest possible setting, and the under blanket's hanging way too low. We could all agree on that. But the way I set it up with the carabiners, we have opportunity to adjust it with the suspension system. So let's take a look. So what I've done is I've taken the two shock cord lines that run from the center of the hammock, and I attached it to tied them up at the top with just a quick and easy overhand knot, and then I attached the carabiner to it. So when I want to set it up, I'll just click it onto the other beaner or anywhere I need to make it to adjust the tightness of the bottom of my blanket. So that's how I set up the two center lines. I was having a little bit of issue trying to set up the sidelines. Now I'll give you a quick look at the sidelines and how they work without my little modification, and then we'll go into how I set it up. You'll have on each side, you'll have a piece of shock cord that runs the whole length of the hammock out to one end and then out to this end. Now on my hammock itself, it has these little loops along the edge all the way down. Not all hammocks are going to have this, so you may have to find another another way to deal with this. But if I would have had another option, the Snugpak under blanket has some tie-out loops here, and I could easily just carabiner the two of them together, and that would be me done. But what I am going to do with this one is I'm going to take the shock cord here, pull it up a little bit tight, fold it over, pass the shock cord through the loop, stick the toggle inside right there, tie it down a little bit, and then just do another little overhand loop and decide to keep it where it is. And now I'll do that on my four corners, and all these shock cords will be tied out quite nicely. I'll just do a quick pass by here so you guys can see what I'm talking about. Here's my my beaner that I attached the two from the bottom, so you can see how these come down and hang. So we're pretty close to the bottom of the hammock there, and when I hop into it, it really fills it up, so there's no gap. I'll show you that in a minute. Shut up, crow. So here we have how I did the setup on my Kammock Roo. I have these little tie-outs along the hammock, and that worked out for me to set this up. But normally what you would do is you tie up this rope to either the tree or part of your suspension system to try to keep it all up. But this is how I did it. Just locked the toggle through there, picked up a stick, but I'm gonna swap those sticks out for a carabiner to make it a really quick setup. Small carabiners will do just fine. So you see here, you've got the cord running through the inside, and then you come across the center. In the center, you've got the shock cord loop where it passes through and attaches to one of those little shock cord locks. This is attached by a little thing with another tie out or you know, a little webbing loop here. But this you can lower and tighten it to make sure that it fits into your hammock. So you can see I'm pretty much at the level of my hammock. Oh, it's you. You see here I'm pretty much at the level of my hammock. So one side is hanging a little bit less than the other, but that'll be adjusted just by pulling on this, making it a little bit tighter, and it'll bring it right up. There's another tie out. See, on my Roo I have these little tie outs everywhere. Not all hammocks come with that, but this one does. And when I got back to the other side, exact same thing. Just put a couple of toggles, drop that in there, and that's it. So basically what I think I'm going to do now is I'm going to go ahead and set the hammock up at one of the ends, and I'm going to hop into it, and we're going to see if when I get into the hammock, if that little gap at the ends fill up, because you really don't want to have any cold breezes flying in there and removing all your hot air. And I think also what I'll do is I might just loosen it up a tiny little bit, and to make sure that when I hop into it, my butt isn't or my back isn't squishing down or making it too tight. Because if it makes it too tight if it makes it too tight on the under blanket, then you're losing your insulation properties. So let's go ahead and take a look at that. We'll check that out and see if we can set that up to make it 100%. Doesn't feel so bad. Sorry guys, I gotta tell you, this seems to be a pretty good option for somebody on a budget who's going to be looking for something to go out hammock camping, and you don't have the 350 or 400 bucks to shell out for an underquilt. This will do the trick. I don't see myself really doing any extreme camping in the middle of winter when it's minus 20 outside in the hammock. I just don't want to lose my nose to frostbite. So anyway, that said, this looks like it's gonna be a pretty good setup. I'm kind of liking it already. I can't wait to get out and give it a try. We'll definitely have to give it a try when and maybe sometime in May. I got my birthday coming up, and I'm kind of hoping I can get out and do an overnighter somewhere. Maybe do a couple of days camping even. That would be kind of great. So in my area anyway, where it gets pretty cold, even in May at nighttime. So it gets down to the you know, around 5 degrees or so. That's Celsius. So we'll see how it goes. But all in all, I think this will be a pretty easy setup. Pretty good. These locks seem to work over all right. And I'll just switch these toggles out like I showed you for a couple of carabiners, and it'll be click, 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 and I'm set up, and it'll be nice. I kind of like that. It's there's many different options for depending on what kind of hammock you have that you could use this guy up. Anyway, so for a first hang, I'm pretty impressed with this under blanket, and I actually bought 2 of them. So when I do go camping out, I'm going to take Mr. Hammock Camper over here behind me. He's going to get his first night in a hammock. I have a Grand Trunk hammock for him that's got a mosquito net on it. You can see that in one of my videos. And if in the future you want me to do a review on this, on the Kammock Roo, I'll be happy to do that. I also have the mosquito net that goes with this. So if you're interested in seeing that, just leave a message down in the comments, and I'll get out and get that done for you. If you're looking for an under blanket for your hammock, and you don't have millions of bucks to spend, this one will run you around 50 bucks Canadian on Amazon.ca, and it's a little bit cheaper at Amazon.com. So go ahead, check these guys out, and you guys get out and explore.